You know what nobody talks about? The benefits of being ugly. And a lot of people will say that they're ugly as a joke, just like people say that they have anxiety and they know that they don't actually have anxiety. Most people who post these type of videos, they want people to say, oh no, you're actually not ugly. You're just insecure or you're just not confident. I don't want that. I don't care about that. I genuinely believe in what I'm saying, in that there's so much more to life than trying to be this attractive person externally. But if you actually are ugly, you know this. If you're someone who grew up and was constantly overlooked for the more attractive people, if you're someone who never got compliments on your looks, if they didn't come from family or the elderly, then you probably know what I'm talking about. We live in a society where people pedestalize conventionally attractive people. And of course, as a kid, this is something that leads to feelings of resentment towards many people. It might be resentment towards your parents for making you ugly. It might be towards other people for overlooking your valuable qualities because you're not attractive. So you can't really even get a chance to show off those qualities, and you don't get any benefit of the doubt. It just comes with the territory. But there are actually benefits. I remember growing up and being that person that was constantly ignored, didn't have many friends, and wasn't really liked by many people at all, in any sense of the word liked, not just in some type of relationship context. I did see people that had it easy. They were able to see success socially, a lot of them just based off of their looks. Well, initially, I would be like, why can't I be attractive too? I later learned that being attractive isn't all that. There's a lot of negative consequences that come with being attractive. We see people who they have a lot of friends, they're super popular, but they don't know who actually likes them for them. They constantly have to watch their back and wonder what people's true intentions are with them. Do people just want to get with them, date them, leave them inevitably? Do they want to get some clout from them? As someone who is attractive, I imagine that you would have to constantly reevaluate who's in your circle, why they're in your circle, and how you want to form your circle in the future. Who do you want to cut out? Who do you want to keep in? And that can become pretty repetitive, and that can become pretty onerous, as opposed to someone who doesn't have to worry about that because their choices are limited due to their looks. They don't have to worry about people playing the game of being fake with them just to get into their good graces, because if you're ugly, you don't have much social capital. So if someone likes you and chooses to spend time with you and invest in their relationship with you, that person likes you for you. One of the greatest aphorisms is to judge people by what's on the inside, not by what's on the outside. But if you're attractive and good looking, people are going to inherently think that you are good at what you do and that you're desirable in whatever context it is. They might think that in school you're a good student, a good athlete, and a good musician. Attractive people get that halo effect, especially if you're ugly, because I saw one guy post a video about this. You, as an ugly person, might even get a bit of dopamine just from looking at that person, kind of leeching off of their energy. But other ugly people don't get that from looking at you. Even my own family makes fun of my looks. They make fun of different aspects of my face, my body. I've heard it all from everyone. I've heard it from little kids. I've heard it from older people. And you kind of have to get over that being hurtful, because nobody chose their body. If you think about it, nobody chose how they look. I'm sure that if everyone could have an option about how they would look, they would choose to look like a supermodel. How fun would that be if everyone looked amazing? How would you even differentiate between people? That doesn't seem like a life that I would want to live. Us ugly people, we have many hidden gems. We have these authentic relationships that to a certain point, attractive people just cannot have. And I think that's actually a benefit. I really enjoy having deep conversations with people. I really do not enjoy the concept of having a bunch of shallow interactions. I feel that's what you get as an attractive person. You have so many people that want to get to know you. And at some point, you have to understand that as a human, you don't have the capacity to get to know everyone at a deep level. And that goes for anyone, whether you're attractive or ugly. As an attractive person, that's something that has to be realized fast. As an ugly person, you can take your time, really grow and nurture those relationships with those who decide that they want to do that with you. Maybe then, if you begin to reach your capacity, then you can decide, I only want to focus on these few people here. But, you don't get the privilege of cutting people off to begin with. Cutting people out of your life initially. You have to give that some time. I remember I was at a graduation party for someone who was graduating high school, and this person was as boring as anything. And I was wondering, why are people still so attracted to him? What's the energy that he has? What does he have that I don't? This person was super smart, as far as I was aware. I didn't really know that person too well, but he seemed to be in those smart kid classes. Aside from that, I could see that he had no personality, but people were still drawn to him based off of how he looked. How did I know that? Besides people talking about it, you begin to categorize people as you navigate through school. The popular kids all have a certain look. The nerds have a certain look. There might be some overlap, but generally the people that you see treated the best are the ones that have the best looks and are considered objectively, conventionally attractive. As an ugly person, you have to work harder. Attractive people, they can get away with doing whatever. They can, and this can go online, offline. They can do the bare minimum, shallow things, shallow conversations. Think about social media. They can just post pictures of their face and go viral. As an ugly person, you have to really develop character. And I think that's something that is actually a benefit, because at the end of the day, we are all just souls inside these bodies. You think about what's the essence of who you are and who someone else is. It's all about that soul, not about this external flesh. These external bodies vary so much from person to person. Once you begin to learn how to develop character, life becomes more interesting. It might not be better from the perspective of what you think you want out of life in terms of social status and things of that nature, but it's better because it's more rich, it's more fulfilling, and you really understand that the deepness that goes into the experience that you're having. You don't take things for granted. You don't take a relationship for granted. You don't take the attention that you get for granted, because you understand it's limited. And you understand that you should be thankful to those who have decided to do that. You also really are just thankful for life itself. You begin to focus on things that are not superficial. You focus on your health more. You focus on looking internally. How can you better understand what life is about? How can you better develop your skill sets for things that you decided you want to learn? How can you give back to people who have it worse than you? Because there's always going to be someone who has it worse than you. As ugly as you might be, there's always someone uglier. And you have to constantly think about that. Even if you're the most undesirable person, you still have worth. Don't let society tell you that your worth comes from being in a relationship. It doesn't. We see how most relationships go. Once you get past high school, you should understand that there's more to life than trying to be popular and trying to date someone. Having true connection is what life is about. I know that when you're in high school, it can seem like your whole world revolves around this idea of, how do I look? How am I perceived by other people? Who likes me? Who can I get into a relationship with? All of that is not what life should be centered around. And you begin to realize that as you get older, if you haven't already in high school. So what I say is, there's benefits to being ugly. At some point, you just get sick of playing the game of trying to keep up with everything, trying to keep up with your appearance and how things look. There's freedom. There's real freedom in accepting your ugliness. It's time to stop feeling sorry for yourself and time to start really digging deeper into what life is truly about. At the end of the day, nobody cares anyway, so might as well find something else to focus on. Yeah.